Hey everyone, welcome to another Tuesday Manifesting with the Mergoddess. Hello, Sarah.
Hello.
Hey, gonna come, come,
You
come.
got different. Hey.
Yeah, yeah.
Nice.
So you've been posting a lot about a dietary experiment you're doing.
Yes.
Tell us
Yeah,
about it.
I've been working with Dr. Graham, who does like the 80-10-10. Basically, 80% of your diet is fruit, and then 10% is like fats and vegetables. And so I've been learning how to eat for performance versus not because like in quarantine, like what I found was that, like I'm not burning as many calories or, doing as much activity. Like swimming takes a lot out of you and I'm learning that a lot, and
Uh-huh.
so I decided that I wanted to try something different and see if I could, learn from it and understand a little bit more on why maybe I should eat more fruit and, not as many starches and grains and things like that. So, yeah, I've been journaling every day so that people can see the foods I'm eating and hear about my experience and things like that.
So what do you think so far?
So I really like it. Of course, Captain America is like literally changing the game with like being super creative. Like today we had cinnamon buns made from bananas. Like you don't even like these things aren't really being cooked. We don't have a dehydrator, so you just put it in the oven like super low heat just for the things to like stick together to kind of like make it like that. But I really like the variety and I really like how much energy I have. I just noticed for myself, I was just eating things that maybe weren't not necessarily like bad, but just like you get in habits, right? Like at home, you're like, oh, let's order this like plant burger out. And then all of a sudden it becomes a habit of, oh, let's do it again and again and again. And then all of a sudden you're like, I don't really feel well and what's going on with me. So I had a couple times when I had some cravings that came up, and Dr. Graham suggested to just eat more fruit. And so, because we're naturally sweet people, and so now that I can like eat all the fruit that I want, it's not too bad actually.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I've found that most cravings go away if I allow myself to eat three bananas.
Yeah, like he eats like he shared with me what he ate like between breakfast and lunch, and like he had like 27 bananas between breakfast and
Uh-huh.
lunch, and I was like, okay, I haven't gotten to that. Like I've gotten like to 5 bananas, but like I don't know if I could eat that many, but who knows, right?
Right. Well, also what I like about the way you're writing about it is you're viewing it as an experiment, and you don't you don't have any ego skin in the game. Like you're not like, well, this has to be right or else my whole life is a fraud, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like it's really just like understanding what how my body feels eating the this way versus not eating this way. Like what was the difference? Like and I'm not eating fats or like nuts and things like until after my workout because he described to me that when you eat fats and things like that like before or even during your workouts like you can't you're he said some scientific word and I'm probably going to mess it up but basically in a nutshell like for lame's terms is that you don't have as much energy when you eat those foods during your workouts. So I found that it's actually like a treat like for dinner to have like nuts and avocado and things like that versus eating those throughout the day.
Mm-hmm.
So just, something to just notice. And I love sweet. I guess we all do, right? So to eat sugar and things like that. And I had picked up a habit of drinking coffee like as soon as I woke up. And I don't necessarily like coffee, but I like the creamer of the coffee. And
Uh-huh.
so, of course, that has sugar and things that I, maybe don't know what it has in it, right? And then it just became like a thing that I just kept doing. Like in my head, I was like, oh, maybe I don't need coffee today, but oh, I want coffee. And now that like I start my day with a green juice and I have like way more energy with doing that. And there's just a lot more clarity. So I've cut out caffeine completely. I'm drinking like decaf tea and things like that, just because like I'm like, we don't know what these things do to our body. And so I'm still, I'm still learning about all of this. So it's just interesting to experiment, and why not in quarantine, right? Why not do something to learn about it and see how it goes and how I like it.
Right, and it's important to understand that you're talking about these specific things about when you have this and when you have that macronutrient for performance, for like really high level athletic endeavors.
Yes.
Right. It's not that all of us need to be like, walking around with lab notebooks to optimize our diets for just, being podcasters and writers and, normal jobs.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, but like for me, like I just wanted to see, like, I do all this training, I've done all these things, and the one thing that I haven't really understood is my diet. Like, yeah, like, I mean, we talked about before when I was becoming a coach, I noticed some things then. Like, there was a pig that came up, a sea creature, whatever it was, right? And I learned about those things. And then just even looking at my family history, how my family eats, all these different types of things, just looking at those as a way for me to understand myself, and so I've just been like taking this as like, I notice that like if I have a piece of banana bread, like I can't stop thinking about it. So what does that mean? Do I not ever eat the banana bread again, or do I go deeper and really try to understand what is it behind it, right? Like, is my addiction personality of things that I've done in the past, does that come out when I have a certain food, And so these are like the kind of things that I'm just like noticing. But like when I have like, say for instance, Captain made a raw like cheesecake that had like used cashews and almonds and things that are like super healthy for your body. Like I wasn't craving to have like 3 or 4 pieces of that, it was like one piece and I was like completely done, and I don't necessarily need it all the time. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So what is sugar or, the caffeine or things like this? Like, what are these substances? Like, what are they doing to my body, to other bodies, right? And like, how do we really look at it? Is it a need or a want? And is it something that we really, really need or want in our lives, in our diet?
Yeah.
Like, is it really good for you?
Yeah, and I'm hearing a very loud lack of judgment about it, which I think is where a lot of us get hung up. We're like, oh, well, I read this book, sugar is bad, meat is bad, dairy is bad. And we then become sort of tied up in moralistic knots about it, because then if we slip, then the only choice we have is to go into guilt, right? And to
Totally.
to beat ourselves up or to wonder what's wrong with us, as opposed to what you're doing is sort of, this is an exploration of a relationship, right? And
Exactly.
a lot of people I know are getting into food in new ways during these lockdowns, this pandemic, because everyone's like baking weird stuff and trying to learn how to do without some of the staples that we aren't finding, or everyone's doing like sourdough bread or turning into Martha Stewart. And I know other people are taking this time. They have more time to learn things, to take a course or to grow or to brush up on something. And it sounds like you're combining those into
Yeah.
right.
Into a big experiment for myself to see what can I get out of this, you know what I mean? Like, what can I take from this? Because I mean, I'll be honest, like there's times when like yesterday, like I've been super honest on my writing and just sharing like how I feel. And like yesterday there was a point when I just didn't want to do anything, and I'm just allowing myself to feel that way and understand that it's okay to not want to do anything, right? Like, I mean, there's so many feelings and things that I have that are coming up of like not being able to get to a pool, to not be able to like go and do like the things that I had really got excited about doing, and like understanding that I can feel that way too. I don't have to like it's okay to not be okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and for there's been a lot of talk lately in the media and on my social media feeds about the mental health costs of the pandemic, not just the physical. Um, and my perspective is like we weren't doing that great before, right?
Yeah,
As a
exactly.
society,
No,
like,
we weren't.
and yet there's still what one thing I'm hoping is that some of the stigma of of mental unease will fall away as we can talk about it. We can point to something to say, there is a cause, as opposed to like, what's wrong with me? There's this feeling that I have that I'm just tired all the time, or I don't feel like I have purpose in my life, or I don't feel the connection. Now, like, I think all of that was true before, and a lot of us felt like we had to hide it because there was no good reason for it.
Exactly.
Right. And,
Yeah.
uh, to feel, I've seen this like apart together idea that in some strange ways, this separation is helping lots of people become more empathetic.
Mhm.
I would say for me, that's sort of the litmus test of am I doing this right? Like if you're going through this period and there's more and more people that you hate or can't stand or think are idiots or think are weak or think are alarmist or think are cavalier, um, like I get those feelings a lot, and I have those thoughts and
Yeah.
judgments. And I think my own challenge is to, while not getting silent about what I think is true and right, to be gentle with other people, because ultimately, as gentle or ungentle as I am with them, that's how I am with myself.
Exactly. And one thing that I've been kind of working on is like understanding that, I mean, inside all of us, there's a soul, right? And at that soul level, we are equal. And so if we can appreciate the roles that people have taken on, whether it's in the politics, whether it's in the health field, or, whatever people have come to take on as their identity or their job or whatever, and just to understand that, it may be difficult for them. And we don't necessarily know what they're going through because as a society, we've always shut the door and hid our emotions and things like that. So I feel like it's just such a great time to really get through your own emotions and then appreciate people for what they're doing, no matter what it is, no matter your opinions or beliefs or whatever it is, just to really get to the bottom of yourself and then you can really have appreciation.
Boy, going raw is so much easier than that.
Yeah, I know. Right? It totally is.
Just can I
Definitely.
have my bananas and my judgments?
Yeah, exactly. But you can have your judgments, right? But it's just like a matter of like, what do you like having the judgments, but then not having the judgments. Like there's like
Well,
many different like bubbles,
it's
right?
like your
You can-
it's like your creamer, right? The question isn't, is this
yes,
judgment good or bad? The question is, what is the effect of this judgment on me and the world? Am I
exactly.
do I have like a bright shining fiery sword that is cutting through the BS and helping people see the truth, or am I just further polarizing and feeling self-righteous and embittered in my own little mind?
Exactly. Yeah, totally. I mean that it's just like if we can think about, things more than just doing it, like instead of me pouring the coffee with the creamer, now it's like, hold up, like I really don't necessarily need that and I don't think I need to have that, in my reality. And we can look at this in all things in life, especially with what's going on. We can come back out there and really just have so much gratitude, because like I used to feel so itchy from the water. Now I'm like, I miss the itch,
Mm. Yeah.
miss the chlorine burning my eyes, but it's like, it's all good. It's gonna be better than ever, as when we get to go back and do some of the things we like to do. So
All right. Hey, before we go,
totally.
a shout out to Lana, who writes, day 40 of eating whole food plant-based. I found being in quarantine made me rethink my lifestyle. Recovering from foot surgery, so I'm walking up to 10 to 15 kilometers daily. Podcasts and Facebook Lives have really helped me, so thank you. Well, that's
Yay, Lana.
yay.
That's amazing. So awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. And I was thinking about like like 2 weeks ago when we had talked about like being the health coach, and how Lana had said that she wasn't where she wanted to be to, be the health coach. And then after me just kind of like organizing my own food stuff, I was like, oh my gosh, like I could have literally thought that about myself as well. But it actually it made me like even appreciative more of myself, because I was still going through that, and I could share that with other people that are maybe eating more sugar and want to, cut things that they feel aren't healthy out.
Hmm. Yeah. Kevin and I are starting a health coaches podcast, and we've been, pre-recording. We're going to get like 10 episodes in the can before we release it upon the world officially. But we did have a conversation about, as a coach, how do you deal with your own slip-ups when you're coaching others, right? There's sort of an interesting fine line between, admitting that you're human and using your own experiences for empathy and for useful guidance, and sort of revealing all and kind of giving permission to the other person to
Exactly.
be lax and to mess up because you are. Oh,
Yeah.
Lana says down 11 pounds too. You have a great memory, Sarah. I was just thinking that, like, yeah. As soon as Sarah started talking, I was like, oh yeah, that's true. I will
That's
be a health
awesome.
coach one day. I used to work for Weight Watchers, so I want to change my mindset first.
I
All
love
right.
it. Well, keep it up. I mean, you're already there, So just when you feel you're ready, you're ready. And even when you don't feel you're ready, right?
Right. So now you just got to become instead of a Weight Watcher, become a depth watcher.
Yes. Diving deep.
Diving deep. All right. You got anything
Cool.
else?
I think that's all for today.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your inspiring inspirations.
Of course. And
Uh,
until next time,
all right.
we'll wave it on out. Thanks, everyone. See
Bye.
ya. Bye bye.